Hello, sports fans, and welcome to the 2019 Fellowship of Christian Athletes Day of Football here at Trinity Christian School. I'm Michael Maffett, and I'm here with Spence Lovett, who is the area director for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And Spence, what we have going on out here today at Trinity is a 7-on-7 event with teams throughout Middle Georgia. And what we're going to ask you to do is just tell us a few things about FCA, what you're trying to accomplish locally, and then a little bit about today and what you're doing out here.
All right. Well, Michael, this summer FCA spends a lot of times with the camps. We do team camps off campuses all around the Middle Georgia area, and today actually is a 7-on-7 that Coach Fields has been doing before I even came on staff. And when I came into our area as FCA, Coach Fields called me in and said, would you like to partner together? I already got this event going. He's pro FCA. He is behind what we stand for. And so this is the second year we have partnered together to make this event possible here on the campus at Trinity. And well, today, we reach out to area teams, invite them. He does that. Invite them on this y'all's beautiful campus here, and y'all have the facilities set up to host something like this, and get the Booster Club involved,
Right.
And we'll bring in a speaker. Ultimately, we want to share the gospel with the kids, and this year's speaker is going to be Tony Loudon.
Absolutely. So what we've got this morning is a lot of 7-on-7. I think you can hear and see that going on behind us. Spence just alluded to, there's going to a speaker going to come in at lunchtime.
Yes, sir.
We're going to feed the kids lunch. We had a lot of people reach out, donate water, Gatorades, food, and then the FCA provided the speaker. So if you would just spend a few minutes telling us about the speaker and what you hope to reach out and touch these young men with.
Right. Well, Tony Loudon, he's an older gentleman, African-American, who actually played football and baseball at USC out in California and went on to a career in Major League Baseball. Felt called into the ministry and is currently spending a lot of times focusing on prison ministry, speaking in prisons. And we actually came across this with Pastor Wes Moy over at Pine Forest, knew Tony, and Britt Evans, who attends Bruton Parker College and plays baseball. Tony actually did a revival service over there, and Britt said he's phenomenal. And so we're looking forward for Tony to come in and share God's word, and with public schools, private schools, it don't matter. Today, they'll get a good meal and hear the gospel shared, maybe for the first time.
Absolutely. So, Spence just alluded, we have both public and private here participating. And I don't know if anybody's told you this, but I personally want to tell you thank you for everything you do for this community. I know that y'all had a big part this year in the Leprechaun Road Race.
Yes, sir.
I think you raised some money, and all that money goes back into the community. And what you see here is it doing things and working in children's lives in a Christ-like manner, just like we're doing. So we'd like to thank you for everything you do here locally.
And I appreciate it, and I appreciate the community of the Middle Georgia or Heart of Georgia areas is what we call our area, but because just like Michael said, this would not be possible without you guys. You guys pouring into the ministry, and it turned around going right back into food, Bibles, camps, all kind of things to get these athletes and individuals in our community into an environment where positive influence and to experience Jesus.
Perfect, man. We can't wait to see what holds in store here at lunch.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you.
And I'm here with head coach Jimmy Fields, and coach, it seems just like yesterday we were doing a wrap-up show, and the winter and the spring and the summer have just flown by. You guys are out here at the FCA camp. We just talked to Spence Lovett. He's doing a really good job getting these kids out here, both experiencing Christ and football. So I just want you to touch base on, from a football perspective, what we're doing out here this week.
Well, football perspective, teams all over Georgia has been in the weight room, Michael. It's been a long, hot summer already. But it's been a chance. A lot of our kids have gone away to, whether it be church camps and things like that. It's not just football. Football is something certainly we're excited about as football fans. It's what we do. It's not who we are. Right. And certainly there's a lot of football going on out here right now. Dodge County, ECI, Emmanuel County's over here, Tatnall Square, First Presbyterian Day School out of Macon has joined us, and we're excited about that, getting a lot of good reps. Of course, nothing's live, no full contact. This is what we call 7-on-7, where the offense gets to work passing game, the defense can work pass coverage. There's no lineman involved. A lot of people tend to say, and I kind of agree, it's probably not real football, but it's part of football, and it can give kids some reps and good experience competing against other schools. And then most importantly, and I'm sure Spence Lovett has shared this, we'll finish up today with lunch. Our Trinity parents have gone, again, the extra mile to make sure that these kids, all these kids, not just Trinity kids, get fed lunch today. And then FCA is providing a speaker and will boldly present the gospel after they eat lunch. So we're excited about that.
Absolutely, and you touched on exposure. It's all about exposure, and each day they build on it. The most exciting part is not only are they building football, but they're building the love of Christ. So, I know you're a busy guy. I appreciate everything you do for these kids. It's great to see the atmosphere that we have out here, especially locally. And I encourage everyone, and I say it each and every week, come out in the fall and support these kids. You can see it right here, Coach. They're putting in the time. It is hot. It's been hot all summer. But they're putting in the time and effort to get better each and every week. So, like I said, come out and support these kids.
That's right. I know that some of our other sister schools, West Lawrence, East Lawrence, and Dublin High, is putting on some similar Fellowship of Christian Athlete events that'll be coming up in the next few weeks, especially to kick off the school year, Fields of Faith. So be listening for that. And again, support FCA because it does a great job of why we're really here, reminding us all, whether it's Trinity or Dublin or West Lawrence or East Lawrence, football is what we do. We're passionate about it, but it's not who we are.
We do love it, and we can't wait for it to start, and it'll be here before we know it. So thank you for everything you do, Coach.
Thank you, Michael.
Right. Hey, we're here with head coach Ken Kofer of the Dodge County Indians. And, Coach, it's fantastic to have you guys over here at Trinity at this 7-on-7. I know it means a lot to these kids, and I think they'll hear a pretty impactful speaker here at lunch. But give us some insight in your season. I know you're in Dublin's region, and we get to see a lot of you on a weekly basis.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Dublin's a big rival, so you got to get ready for them. So we're trying to win the summer a little bit, just to be honest with you. But just being over here at Trinity has been a good thing, and get to hear a good speaker. These kids act right over here, and it's just a good place to be. But definitely trying to get into this region because I'm coming from Wilcox County from last year. But I've had some experience in this region before, but it's tough, so we're going to go after it.
I was talking to Coach Fields a little early. It's crazy. It just seems like the season ended last year, and we've gone through the summer. So I know your kids, I'm sure, have been in the weight room all summer.
Yes, sir. We do it year-round. It's become a year-round thing for everybody these days. And, the summer's gone by quick, and we're fixing to start school here in about another week and a half. So we're ready to go. So we play the 9th against Hawkinsville in a scrimmage. Looking forward to that so they get to hit somebody else besides our own folks.
Good deal. Well, from everybody here locally in Lawrence County and at TV 35, we wish you the best of luck.
Thanks, sir.
And I'm sure we'll see you some this year on TV.
Yes, sir. Please do.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I've got the head coach of ECI, Coach Chris Kearson. And, Coach, it's awesome to come out here to an event like this. You've got a bunch of kids doing the right thing, learning about Christ, learning about football. That's right. And you got to be excited about the upcoming season.
We are, and I thank Coach Fields for putting this together. It gives us a chance to kind of, you get tired of seeing each other at practice every day, so it gives you a chance to come out and compete, and obviously the main focus here is it's a Christ-centered event, and that's what we want to come to. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I've stopped going to some events just because of the way people talk, the way they act. I try to steer clear of those kinds of events, but this is one that we enjoy coming to. Our kids compete, and they do it the right way, and we make some mistakes, and you'll hear coaches hollering, but you also hear them coaching the right way.
That's the same thing the Dodge County coach said. There's a lot of positive influence. You don't hear a lot of the bad talking. You see
That's
the
right.
kids in a way that they really want to get out and learn to game
That's
football.
right, and you want to teach your kids that mistakes are going to be made. Mistakes are made in life, and it's how you react to that. This is football. It's not the end of the world. And we want our kids to. I want our kids to struggle. Obviously, I want them to have a hard time. If this is as hard as it gets in life, then we're doing pretty good.
You're exactly right. Real quick, give us a little glimpse into the 2019 season.
We are super young at the skill position. We are trying our best to grow up as fast as we can. I feel pretty good about what we got up front on both sides of the football. Obviously, you don't see those guys here. We're the 7-on-7, but that's where we got that's the strength of our team right now. We're a little older right there. We got a couple of skilled kids that are older and have some experience, but we're trying to break in some puppies. And so that to me is probably the biggest job that we've got as coaches right now, to try to grow those young kids up at the skill position right now.
Good deal. Well, from everybody here at Lawrence County at TV 35, we wish you the best of luck in the 2019 season.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Out here, there are many jobs to do. You need the kind of power, versatility, and comfortable handling that comes with your territory. You need the tractor built to pull all that weight. The Kubota L Series is what you need out here. Right now, get an L Series for 0 down with 1.99% APR financing for up to 84 months, plus a 6-year warranty.
Your Kubota dealer is Midstate Tractor and Equipment at 1325 North Jefferson in Dublin. Call 478-272-2198.
I'm Heath Richter, and we just want to invite everybody to come on down to the Houston Clinic and check us out at our new facility. We've been in Dublin for a while now, obviously, but have a new office here, and we'd just like you to come down and see some of the new stuff we're offering. And if you need to get checked out, we'd be glad to do that for you. We've got able to do some ultrasound-guided injections now, and physical therapy, and just a little bit better space, so hopefully we can get you in and out of here a little bit quicker.
Come by and see us today at our brand new location, the Houston Clinic, Medical Drive in Dublin.
How's everybody doing? Good. Somebody wake up that my man back over there in the top up there. Don't want to miss anything. I know you're tired, so I won't keep you long. I know it's been hot out there. Watch some of you guys get some reps in out there on the field today. I watched some of you guys where the coach was calling you and said, hey, come on, I need a linebacker, and you didn't stand up. I'm going to tell you something, you're going to regret not getting those reps in. You might not regret it today, but you're going to regret it one day when it's time to get out there on the field and your name don't get called and you don't get those reps. A football players made during the summertime, during the off season. Basketball players, you see some of those guys in here getting some drills in early on, they're made during the summertime. They're supposed to come in the summer and make the gym sweat. If there's any basketball players in here, you should be running suicides during the summertime so that when you get on the court during the season, can't nobody run with you. My name is Tony Loud, and I'm a nobody trying to tell everybody about somebody. The most important thing about me is that my faith. I'm originally from North Philadelphia, one of the worst hoods in America. How do I know that? Because I went to school in California, in South Central, where USC has a wall built around the school just to protect you from the hood. I played baseball, football, and basketball at West Philly in Philadelphia, where we were always in the mix for winning the championship. The house that I grew up in a single parent home where my mom ran what we call a speakeasy house, a bootleg house. You young people know it as a trap house. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Raise your hand. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm speaking your language. For those that don't know what I'm talking about, a trap house is where you can go and you can buy all the drugs, all the alcohol, all the prostitution. There's gambling and drugs going on in that house all day long. My mom ran that house. I was a slave of that house. It was my job to come home from school to clean up that house, to clean up the vomit, to clean up the ashtrays, the leftover marijuana, the leftover beer cans. Even sometimes my mom's own vomit, it was my job to clean it up. I watched men come in that house and beat my mother and abuse my mother and abuse my sisters. And the times my mom was doped up or on drugs, there were times that I would call the police at her begging me to call the police. And then when the police came and arrested the man that was beating her, she would beat me with an extension cord because I called the police. I grew up in a home where most of the men in my family was involved in the drugs and gangs. And the men in my family ran one of the largest gangs in North Philadelphia. Most of the women in my family was probably either on drugs or alcohol. But I had a nana that said, if you come to church, I'll bake you banana pudding. So every Sunday I went to church. She wanted me to come to church because she wanted to feed me. And sometimes she would take cocoa butter and baby oil and make a little sap and rub it together and rub it in my wounds that I got the beating from the extension cord. But the reason why I went to church, because every Sunday I knew I could watch the Phillies, I could watch the Pirates play, or I can watch the Eagles play. I can watch sports on her TV because the TV in my household was usually sold for drugs. I learned how to grind. Because one thing, like some of you in your neighborhoods, I heard a couple young men say there's nothing from where I live. A young man told me he wanted to go to Mercer. Another young man told me he wants to go to LSU because where they live, there's nothing there. I'm a pastor down at Plains, Georgia, where the 39th president is. It breaks my heart down there in southwest Georgia where there's absolutely nothing there. I've spoken to young people all through Tifton. I was down there last week, and the young people, they don't call it Tifton anymore, they call it not fit. When you ask them where they're from, they say, I'm from not fit. That's Tifton spelled backwards. It's a shame when young people, young men like you who call yourself gladiators, who wants to compete at the highest level, when you lose all hope on the inside that there's nothing there. Mitchell, when you get to a point where you're playing sports and you really want to get to that next level, the coach is going to ask you to give him some more. When all odds are against you and you think you're going to lose, and that team that's coming in and beating everybody and you're the underdog, and the coach tells you in the locker room, today I need everybody to be on the same page. I need all of us to grind together. The one thing they're going to notice, we're going to hit them in the mouth. We're going to keep hitting them in the mouth. We're going to keep hitting them in the mouth. And at the end of the day, the fourth quarter, if you can tell me you can give it all you got, that's the best I can ask for. But I want to tell you there's something more that you can give. There's something more that you can give is the spirit that you have in you. A spirit of not giving up. See, because I could have easily given up. I didn't have a father in my household. I had a mother who was stuck on drugs. My mother is 89 years old and she still takes drugs. I could have given up a long time ago. I could have given up when I didn't have no one knocking on my door recruiting me. See, the difference between when I talk to some of you and I say, hey, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go to school? And some of you say, I want to go to LSU. I want to go to Mercer. I want to go to Alabama. I want to go to Georgia. I want to tell you, I couldn't think like that when I was a kid. Because my mother used to always say to me, and I don't use that word anymore, when you get 18, you're getting out of here. How many of your parents have told you that when you get 18, you're getting out of here? Raise your hand. Some of you won't admit it, that's all right. And she used to tell me, she said, you're no good just like you're no good dad. But I never knew my dad. I don't know if he was good or not. But she always tell me, you're getting out of here. And when she used to tell me I'm no good, I just said, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to be better than my dad, but I didn't know my dad. But there's something that was in me that told me I had to grind. So every day, the reason why I didn't join in the game is because in order for me to join the game, you had to catch me. So when it was time for me to go to school, I ran to school every day. When it was time for me to leave school, I ran home every day. Some days they won't catch me. And my nana taught me a secret that keep 50 cents in my pocket and roll my lunch money in saran wrap and keep that in my mouth on the way to school. Because when you get stopped by the game, they either take your shoes, take your clothes, jump you in, you have to fight somebody. We didn't do drive-by shooting back in the day. They come into the house and get you, and beat you down, shoot you, or join you in the game. Why am I telling you all this? Because at the age of 13, my mom kicked me out the house. I've never spent another day back in her house. I go to visit. I still love her. But I've never spent another night back in her house. At 13, I spent my first night in a park. Will Smith sings about West Philly, Fairmount Park. I slept in a public restroom. Even now when I go to the restroom, I can smell urine. It reminds me when I slept on the floor in a public restroom. The very next day I got up and I said, I'm never going to live like that again. I started grinding on my future, so I had to change my thinking. I never said I want something. I said, this is where I'm going. I watched USC and Notre Dame play football, and I said, I am going to go to USC. My thinking was, coaches, my thinking was if I can get 3,000 miles away from Philadelphia, I could be away from the hood. But when I got to USC, I was back in the hood, South Central. I say all that to say, the most important thing to you is your foundation on the inside. So when I went to church, I ended up finding this thing called Christianity. Ended up finding Jesus for my life. All my friends that I hang out with now, the people that I talk to right now, the people that have my back, like for example, I can pick up my cell phone right now, call Tyrone Poole, who's from LaGrange, Georgia. Him and I talk every day. He's one of my accountability partners. He has 2 Super Bowl rings. He goes into prisons with me and speaks to men who are in prison. He travels all around the state, but he was from this little place called LaGrange where he says there's nothing in LaGrange. He graduated from Fort Valley High School where he was a first-round draft pick. But what him and I realized, we have something deep on the inside that calls the grind when we push each other. Something spiritually that pushes you beyond the point of pain. Something that tells you that you can conquer all things. That all things are possible through Christ who strengthens you. That there's a solid foundation in your life. That there's something more to you than what you even believe in. There's some other friends that I call. Ken Norton, who's also now an NFL football coach. Him and his father now were good friends. When his father had a car accident, the first person that they called while I was in California actually to get him through rehab, Ken Norton, who was a boxer at Fort Muhammad Ali. Ken Norton, him and his son and I became good friends. Now his son went to UCLA, I went to USC. We was rivals. But still to this day, I can pick up the phone and call him at any time. See, I don't surround myself with people who ain't going nowhere. I can't hang out with nobody that want to grind. Even in college, if my girlfriend called me during the season after 8 o'clock, I would hang up on her. Because during the season, I wanted to focus on the season. Why? Because I still had that want-to issue that I wanted to play professional baseball. I couldn't have no distractions. When we played Hawaii, don't call me unless it's about grades or that you done took some notes in a class that you want to give me some notes. But see, some of you sitting in this room, the very first thing that's going to take you out from being all that you can be will be Delilah. Because you're so busy on the phone, texting and tweeting instead of studying the playbook on how to get an immersive. You can't read the playbook because you don't grind in school. You don't sit in the front of the classroom. You sit in the back and joke and play, and then when it's time to be eligible, you got to go to one of the coaches and talk to a teacher to see if you can get some extra credit to be eligible. There's nothing on the inside that's pushing you to be all that you can be. I never thought in my wildest dreams that this little boy from the hood was not going to be playing professional baseball in his later days or coaching. Because I had my plan. The Bible says, write the vision, make it plain, so that he who reads it can take it and run with it. I wanted to read my plan and make it happen. Every day I had a 3x5 card on the refrigerator. It talked about what school I was going to go to, how many push-ups and sit-ups I was going to do every day, how I was going to long toss every day, how I was going to get my 40 time on, how I was going to get my grades up. I had a plan. It was on a magnet on a refrigerator, and I knew every day when I walked in to get something to eat, I could read my plan and make sure that I was on track. But most of you, if I ask you about the plan or how you're going to get there, you'll just, all right. If I ask you how your grades are, you're going to say, oh, they're all right. And coaches and recruiters, they know when you're lying. Because if you ask a person who's secure about his grades, oh man, they're great. Their eyes light up. They're not worried about their grades. Because grades will be the last thing that keep them from getting to their dreams. Everything else now is about performance and making it happen, getting to your A game. Well, how do you get to your A game? Without distractions, without worrying about where you're from. without worrying about your father might be in jail or your single parent home or somebody's on drugs, how do you get to where you want to be? I want to tell you about something on the inside. The spirit man. Something that pulls the best out of you when you feel like you're in the worst situation ever in your entire life. Something that makes you grind even when your parents are talking about divorce. Or even when there's a financial situation that takes place in your home. Something that pulls you to another place. Something that tells you when an excuse pops up in your mind, your other part, the spirit man says, excuses are like a bow, everybody got one. I'm not going to ride this excuse where I won't get to my victory or to my dream or my purpose. You see, here's what you don't understand in this age. Your parents buy your shoes, they buy your Nikes, they buy your cleats, they invest in the camps, they do all those things. Every time you need money for something, they give it to you. If your grandparents don't have it, your parents don't have it, you find a way to make it happen. I tell young people all the time, you're a company. And no one likes to invest in a company that's going down. Everyone invests in a company that's going up. Christ has that same principle. When you invest in him, he invests in you, and he takes your life and your dreams and what you want and put it on display. You know why? Because there's a little secret. You'll make sure that you give him all the glory. It bothers me when people look for that hand clap. They want the hand clap to be about all them, all American, all this, all that, all this, all that. And you're no good for anything. But you look at all the other players who have played sports and they put Christ on display and you see their life. Look at David Robinson, who played basketball, who runs over 100 charter schools after basketball, who's pouring into young people education. Every time you asked him about his play or how he won, he always said, to God be the glory. Look at Stephen Curry. Could have signed with Nike, but he didn't sign with Nike. He signed with a shoe company that will put a biblical scripture on his shoes. Because what he had on the inside was greater than what any man could have given him. And everything that he does, he still puts God on display. See, you live in a life where parents force you to go to church, force you to go to school, force you to go to church, force you to go to school, and you're still searching. I want to tell you, when you start searching, that's when anybody can give you anything. If I'm a coach, I'm looking for some men who want something more than what they feel, more than what they can dream. That you don't live on the words, I can't. That even when a cramp pops up, not just a physical cramp, but a spiritual cramp, when you lose hope on the inside. I don't hang around men that can't hold me accountable. Because even in football, you got to have somebody to hold you accountable. Why? Because if we're the offense, we put up 14 points, and that's all we think we're going to do. I need the defense to hold me accountable, and I can hold them accountable, and get on the other side and stop that team from scoring 14 points. I'm going to need that tight end to block sometimes. And sometimes I'm going to need to run out. And if the quarterback don't look my way every time I run down the field, I can't stop running my plays. I can't cut it off too soon. If the coach don't call my number, I can't be sitting on the bench complaining. Because if you truly love this game, you play it because God gave you something on the inside that you know you're good at. Not everybody can play this sport. And some of you are playing this sport in multiple sports. You have what I call a diverse portfolio. Let me tell you something, and I won't hold you long, that I think is very important. Defensive tackle was in a car accident and lost his arm. Young football player. under contract with the Dolphins, lost his arm. His football is over. What do you do when your football life is over and you can't play no more? Cheerleader's not holding a banner for you to run out on. You're not in the locker room with the coach getting a pep talk anymore. All my life, all I wanted to do was play sports. Sports have became an idol where I worship sports. I couldn't miss ESPN. I couldn't stop looking and reading everybody else's stats on how it was my idol. But the moment I ran into a wall, busted my knee, backing up Brett Butler in center field, the moment I ran into that wall, I knew my knee was shattered, that I no longer had the speed to play outfield. I'm laying there and I'm complaining to God, why did you bring me this far and allow me to get here, and now I'm done? I tore everything in my left knee. I was on a team with Darryl Strawberry. I was on a team with Brett Butler, Lenny Harris, Earl Hershiser. I was on a team with Tommy Lasorda. I knew his family in Philadelphia. I was on a team I had it made, all I did was stay healthy. All of a sudden, I couldn't play no more. I remember complaining to God, why'd you bring me this far? I'll never forget this. When God asked me, same question while I'm laying on the field, when are you going to love me the way you love baseball? Sometimes the only time you hear anything about God when you go to church. Or you come to an FCA meeting. There's a shooting in school. Somebody gets killed in school. Or a player gets so hurt on the field, coaches and everybody gather together to pray. Or somebody in your family, a nana or big mama, talking to you about church and your spirit and vacation Bible school and all that. 2 years ago, I invited Darryl Strawberry to come to Georgia to speak into one of our worst prisons in the state. 2 years ago, he came because of a relationship that I had with him. 2 years ago, Ronaldo Wynn, who played with the Washington Redskins, came because of a relationship that him and I had. 2 years ago, Joe Gibbs, who has 3 Super Bowl championships, who coached the Washington Redskins, who now runs NASCAR in North Carolina. He's in the racing. 2 years ago, he came and spoke in a prison for me. But the one thing all of us have in common, that when we met in our professional days, we end up sharing Christ with each other. And now through the years, we've been holding each other accountable. Is it perfect? No. Will you fall? Yes. Will you have setbacks? Absolutely. Will people talk about you behind your back? Absolutely. Will people accuse you of different things? Absolutely. When people say your faith is not real? Absolutely. Will you feel like sometimes you want to give up? Absolutely. Will there be times you feel like, hey, I can get a lick out here on the streets? I can make more money on the streets than I can playing this sports anymore? Absolutely. Will there be times you want to give up on your family? Absolutely. Will there be times you feel like you want to stop the world and get off? Absolutely. My best friend, my roommate, who came up with me in the minor leagues, Mike Sharperson, he got sent down while I was still up. He's the one that, him and Brett Butler, introduced me to Christ while I was playing professional sports. They was the ones that kept me accountable. Well, Mike Sharperson ended up in a car accident. A driver came down the freeway the wrong way, a drunk driver, and killed him. There goes his baseball. I say all that to say, there's going to come a day when you no longer will hear this. And all these coaches that are playing right now, they'll tell you there's going to come a day when the clapping will stop. And you got to find another grind to satisfy that high that you get from playing sports. Why am I here today to tell you? There's a stone that was rolled away a long time ago, the first Easter Sunday, where Christ got up out the grave and became the solid foundation of my life. I would have never made it from the hood. And now I get an opportunity to take the oldest living president in the country and meet with him every day to talk to him about his preparation of dying and making it to heaven. Every now and then, God will throw you a curveball and take you away from the things that you love and put you in a place where he wants you to be. And it might not be football. It might not be basketball. It might be something else. But I just want to tell you this today before I close. If you're not open to give God all you got, he can never give you all he got. There was a little boy, 12 years old, walking with his dad. And as they was walking down the street, this little boy saw this big rock. He looked up at his dad and he said, "Dad, I bet if I use all my strength, I can push that rock." His dad looked at him back and said, "Yes, son, I bet if you use all your strength, you can move that rock." Well, little boy took off running, got down by the rock, took both hands, and pushed with all his might to move the stone. His dad stood and watched. The little boy looked up at his dad and said, "Dad, you lied to me. I tried to move the rock and I used all my strength. And I wasn't able to move the rock." His dad answered the little boy back and said, "Son, if you would have used all your strength, you would have asked your father to help you. You didn't use all your strength to move that rock." In life and in football, you got to know where all your strength lies. If you want to move big stones in your life, big rocks in your life, big boulders in your life, you got to know where all your strength lies to push things out of the way so that you can get your destiny. Don't be a lineman in the trenches and don't have support from the right guard or the tackle or the blocking back when you know you're about to throw and not use all your strength. Don't be in life and don't have a relationship with the Father who's in heaven. And it's time to call on all your strength to move things out of your way. Let me pray with you. Bow your heads if you will, please. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, I just lift these young men up into you in this room today. Some of them have come from a long way. Some of them are an hour away just to get here to this football camp. Some of these coaches are taking time away from their families just to pour into them. Well, I pray that there was something that I said to these young men today that would touch their hearts and their spirits. Where their spirit man and say, "I want something more than just the smell of my helmet, just more than this grass, more than being out on the field. I want something more in life. I want to play for you, God, because all the things that you've given me belongs to you. My talent, my strength, my family, my coaches, it all belongs to you." I pray, Lord, that some of these young men in here would not get distracted, that they wouldn't die on a street corner for a color of a t-shirt. I pray, Lord, that some of these young men in this room would never use drugs or enhance their skills or use drugs as a recreation. I pray, Lord, that you put a hedge of protection around these young men so that they can have an opportunity to dream bigger dreams, because you can't be big when little got you. I pray, Lord, that they recognize that they serve a big God and you want to do big things out of them. Now, Lord, blow on these young men from you with your breath, north, south, and east and west winds, that they might live for you and put you on display, that they might not be ashamed of telling someone that I am a follower of Jesus Christ, that I put him on display every chance I get, that every time I get a victory, I'll be able to say, to God be the glory. I pray, Lord, that you send the right people to these young men that won't get them distracted, the right coaches that'll give them a passage into manhood, because some of these young men in this room don't have a father in their lives. I pray, Lord, that you teach these young men about love, love for one another, love for their teammates, love for their school, love for their coaches, and more importantly, love for themselves. I pray, Lord, that you speak to these young men and give them a glimpse of their destiny.